You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Government not happy with doctors' protests at State House over non-employment. NDC and UPND cement working relations in Northwestern Province. Former President RUPIAH BANDA updates the nation over his health status. In international news, Day of National Mourning declared in Senegal over protest killings. And in sports news, MICHO summons 23 local players for crucial AFCON qualifier matches. For the details, join us shortly after this break. With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. In 2012, government banned the brewing of a locally and highly intoxicating brew known as cachasu. However, those still dealing in the business behind the eye of the authorities in Choma district of Southern Province are urging government to reconsider its decision and allow them to get back into their business. According to them, if well harnessed, the industry has the potential to generate income for the country. But Choma Municipal Council Public Relations Officer Kamwela Mulenga says brewing of cachasu remains illegal in Zambia due to its health-associated complications. More in this report.
Locally brewed spirit, commonly known as cachasu or MOURNING in Southern Province, has continued to attract attention both on a positive and negative side. On a positive note, it's a source of livelihood for many in this era of high unemployment and economic hardships, while someone may say they're just trying to make a living. However, on the negative side, it has proven to be highly toxic to human beings as it poses a lot of health risks. MOURNING brewers spoken to by Camnet TV in Choma district insist the spirit has the potential to contribute significantly to national development if well harnessed. Frederick Mulea has since made an earnest appeal to government so that the people involved in this business can be empowered.
Government, monga ma alcohol like MOURNING and tujiri and other tu pempa kutika pena batu mamele bajita authorize kutuga to zambo lima marijuana ufaka like ma banja and other things. So abatu fakile kocha because mabia ya mena ndio mamele tumapeza ko something like ndalama because muntu akabwera umozi angakusira ko 50 kwacha and other things. Monga time ya coronavirus things are very hard because bantu sibaba goda vindu bakuti aende chatu but mo baba goda take away. So tupemba ko government yanganeko pari moba.
The local authority, however, maintains that brewing of the spirit is illegal as it stands.
Illicit brewing has become very rampant in Choma, and it's very worrying. So as a council, we have taken it upon ourselves to go around. So we inspect homes because we've noticed that it's usually sold at household level. So once we find it at a particular home being sold, what we do is we confiscate it and then we seize and dispose of it through the magistrate court order. So it gives us the right to dispose of this alcohol. Also, we charge a penalty of 750 kwacha. Why do we do this? This is just to demoralize the sellers because 750 is a lot of money and you just don't want to lose 750 just like that. So we do it to paralyze the businesses of these people that are going around selling this kind of illegal alcohol. So next week again we'll be going around homes, just inspecting these homes to check whether people are complying now and not selling this dangerous beer anymore.
Meanwhile, Choma District Community Development Officer Andrew Ziambo also added a voice on the subject.
I would like to advise the general public and the members who are brewing illicit beer like Kachasu and Mokia to find other alternative businesses and projects in place of brewing illicit beer, because it's a danger to the youths and the society. We have economic empowerment programs for women in the Department of Community Development. We also have economic empowerment under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and several other institutions and organizations.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News.
Vice President Inongoina has lashed out at politicians politicizing the work of the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, and helping people who are affected by floods, mostly in Lusaka. Ms. Winner says government through DMMU has a responsibility to provide service to its citizens who are affected by various disasters, regardless of whether there is an election in the country or not. She said government will not allow people to die of floods or any other hazards because the country is going through an election period. Mrs. Winner was speaking when she visited some selected flooded places in Kuku, Chawama and Kanyama compounds in Lusaka. Details in this report.
Kuku and Kanyama compounds, among other areas in Lusaka, are famous for recording floods at the slightest spell of rains. This has every year attracted government support through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit. 3 weeks ago, Camnet TV broke the story where houses built along the famous Inongoina Dam were submerged water, with many vacating the houses unless those that were completely financially constrained. A few days later, government reported that it has moved in, indicating that it will start vacating affected families to safer areas. But clearly, this has not been received well by many stakeholders who feel government is only helping these people because it is election time. Vice President Inongoina has since lashed out all those demeaning the effort that government is putting in helping the people of Kuku in Chawama constituency, among other flood-prone areas.
This is a humanitarian support. We can't leave people in the situation of disaster and you claim that is political. What else can we stop? I mean, we have to take care of the livelihoods of people, whether there's an election or not. So I'm very happy that DMMU is able to put up these facilities. In fact, I wished we had more tents, then we could have brought out everyone from that water, because the water is contaminated and the children are at risk, including the parents as well. So this is a humanitarian support to the people. It has nothing to do with politics. If we have to politic everything, I don't know what the opposition want us to do. To leave people to die in contaminated sewage-infested waters, or what? No, this government is determined to ensure that the livelihoods of the people are secured. And they will continue. DMMU will keep it up. No matter what you hear, just put sticks in your ears.
And DMMU National Coordinator Chandakawe told the Vice President that the quick response by government has saved lives that could have been lost as a result of not only the floods but waterborne diseases.
Provided mattresses, and blankets and food, and provide water.
But they have come with their own.
Some of them, it was a challenge because of the situation they found themselves, but that has been provided. Some of them, where's your tent? mattress amani. Munkala mattress.
Apasa bene bakenyanda abapasa kwenye.
Yabini wa mattress. Niambie. Na chakula.
Over 2,000 households have been affected by floods in Kuku, Misisi, and Chawama, with 20 families having been relocated to safer areas. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The 8.5 million kwacha Marco Polo TALS-funded Malcolm Hospital in Lusaka West, whose construction started in January 2021, is expected to be completed and handed over to government in April this year. Company Chief Financial Officer Frank Mulenga tells Camnet TV News in an interview that Marco Polo TALS embarked on the project seeing the many kilometers the people of Malcolm were covering to access health services. He explains that once completed, the hospital will be equipped with state-of-the-art machinery or to be procured by his company. More in this report.
Still in the mourning period, following the demise of her husband who died a few days ago. This is a mighty CNG Piri of Malcolm community in Lusaka West within Chilanga constituency. Her husband died in this very house as they could not afford transport to transport him to a nearby hospital, which is 18 kilometers from MICHO help. She narrates the sad story with the tears almost dropping from her eyes on account that had her husband received medical help early enough, maybe he could still be alive today.
Tiyamikira kwa Mulungu kutachi agwira ntchito potiletera chipatala pafupi ndakunali utalimpo yenda kuja pamene anatiletera pano anagwira ntchito niyamikira nokumsana nusiku nipempera natitere kuti chipatala chidafulumiza obwera sembe bantu sanatenda lamo sonka chite ya motoka yeda ndaulolanga nina ine umba pano nakhala socha bekuwa alibe chamene kaganiza kalova mnyumba na sholika na iwalako na soba.
Few meters away from Amai Piri is another widow, Melesiana Chise, who has seen this community from its inception to where it is now. 22 years ago, this woman aided herself to give birth in this seemingly history house with only one wall standing, as there were no hospital nearby to attend to her.
So ya tumani inali imene inagwa huku kwamene kuli tomato bekwenze bedroom kwamene huko
Chamene munapapira
mwamene ninapapira paja pa St. Charles ndiye kumekwenze clinic okutoloka nkhana mimba kopimisa ni kwamene kuja so ngati wadwala tenzo papira chabe kumanyumba.
It is through such sad stories that Marco Polo TALS, a Zambian company, has embarked on the construction of this hospital, which will come along with it some state-of-the-art medical equipment, as explained by Marco Polo TALS Chief Financial Officer Frank Mulenga.
In terms of our investments, we don't want to leave the community behind us. So we sat with the community to identify what their needs were, and part of their priorities included lack of healthcare facilities. So that is what primarily motivated us to start constructing a hospital for the surrounding community in order to ease the burden of them accessing health services from far-flung places. By the time we finish construction, the total estimated cost will be around 8.5 million kwacha. This includes the equipment that will be used at the hospital.
The construction of this hospital started in January this year and is expected to be handed over to government by April 2021. Malcolm community has 566 households, with its chairman being Andrew Nkoma.
This company came Polo in 2017. We tried to speak to him and he welcomed us. Together, the community committee and the councillor, we had a meeting with one. He said that he will start with police post. Secondly, we talk about from police, what do you need? can we build a high school or health center? We said that no, we need a health center.
For the record, the hospital has been constructed about 500 meters from both Amai Piri and Amai Chise's houses. Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News in Chilanga.
Government through Health Minister Jonas Chanda has expressed disappointment with 2 doctors who marched to State House in protest of lack of employment. On Tuesday, while over 400 doctors and surgeons were protesting at the Ministry of Health headquarters, 2 decided to conduct their protest at State House. These are the ones government is saying will be dealt with, as they had no authority to protest at State House without exhausting the line of communication. Details in this report.
Lack of payment and employment for some health workers forced them to march to Ndeke House at the Ministry of Health to register their displeasure over the matter. Over 400 health workers were seeking answers as to why government has planned to only employ 395 health workers this year, when the majority of volunteer health workers have continued to work without being paid.
For over 6 months now. And we have elected representatives amongst our group to engage with the ministry. And they have been doing that since August, when we were told to obtain our temporary licenses and apply through the right channel. We did that and we submitted our applications to the ministry. And from August 2020 till today.
The protest saw 2 doctors march to State House to petition President Lungu over the matter. This has, however, angered Health Minister Jonas Chanda, who has since warned that the 2 doctors, Brian Sampa and Maurice Mwansa, will be disciplined accordingly.
I take this opportunity to condemn behavior such as was exhibited by the 2 doctors who went to State House over arrears, marching to State House, bypassing the House. Government has channels of communication and will not allow disgruntled behavior, especially from professionals like health workers who are supposed to display the highest standards of professionalism. The 2 doctors who conducted themselves contrary to the terms and conditions of service in the public service will be disciplined by their respective heads accordingly, and I urge other health workers to frown upon such conduct which brings the profession into disrepute. So public service has a disciplinary code, and those who misbehave will suffer the consequences wherever they are engaged, wherever they are working.
The health minister also says government has reviewed the contract of the health workers who were employed since 2019 and have not been paid their salaries.
The effective date of both treasury authorities was 1st September 2019. So there was a gap. Provisional letters given by the Ministry of Health March and May 2019, or the Ministry of Finance gave treasury authorities in 2019 to these workers on 1st September 2019. The implication of this was that the stated health workers who had been working since March to May 2019 could not be paid their arrears because the letters from Ministry of Finance came much later. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance and the Public Service Management Division continued engaging on this matter to address it. The Zambia Medical Association and the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia, who represent the doctors, have been effectively engaged in a series of meetings.
And Dr. Chanda says the country has recorded 8 new COVID-19 deaths in the last 24 hours, with 580 new cases reported.
We recorded 580 new cases. Let me repeat, we recorded 580 new cases out of 5,565 tests conducted, which is a 10% positivity. 8 new deaths were reported over the past 24 hours, broken down by province as follows: Copperbelt 2, Eastern 2, Luapula 1, Muchinga 1, Northwestern 1, and Southern 1. The cumulative number of COVID-19 related deaths recorded to date now stands at 1,148.
COVID-19 has continued to be a threat to the nation, and Dr. Chanda says there is need for all Zambians to continue adhering to the 5 preventive golden rules, among them masking up and social distancing. Prudence Tota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, has handed over medical equipment to the Ministry of Health valued at over $383,890 United States dollars. These comprise emergency and newborn care equipment as part of the ongoing collaboration between UNFPA and the United States Foreign as well as Commonwealth and Development Office, aimed at providing support to the Zambian government in its quest to advance maternal and newborn outcomes in Western and Central provinces. And UNFPA country representative Gift Kalunga says her institution remains committed to advocating for increased support from both local and international partners to allow for heavy investment in maternal and newborn survival services. And Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Kennedy Malama says government acknowledges the UK's government as well as UNFPA for being all-weather partners in the health system strengthening and improvement of service delivery across the consortium of care. Dr. Malama notes that the Ministry of Health places premium on ensuring that people, especially women and adolescents, are healthy and productive. He further revealed that the two provinces to which the medical equipment are intended are fully functional.
Having an operation theatre in a place like Masansa goes a long way in ensuring that we safeguard the lives of our people as a country. The equipment we are receiving today is part of the broader emergency obstetric newborn care package and is going to ensure that our facilities respond timely, not only to emergencies, but all those conditions coming to them. Let me take this opportunity that even though the equipment we are receiving today is targeted at Central and Western Province, the spin-off benefits spans the whole country. And once again, just to put it on record, to the UK government and also UNFPA, that you are indeed our strategic allies in this quest.
A financial analyst, Mwapem Sonda, has advised consumers in the country to ensure that they collect their food change stores in order to increase the circulation of money in the economy. Mr. Msonda says the revelation by the Bank of Zambia last year that the country had run out of coins in circulation can be attributed to the fact that most coins are not collected when customers buy goods from malls and other places. He says the marketing strategy by most shopping malls where prices are not rounded to a whole figure has enabled customers not to collect their 5 and 10 ngwe, contributing to the shortages of money in the economy. And some shop owners spoken to have told Camnet TV News that they do not collect and use the small coins because they are valueless compared to bigger notes. Details in this report.
They may look small and valueless, but these coins are powerful as they add value to the circulation of money in the economy. As a marketing strategy, many shopping malls have not been pricing their commodities in a whole figure as a means of attracting customers to buy from their supermarkets. This has, however, forced many customers to leave their change, such as the 5 and 10 ngwes, uncollected because they look valueless in the sight of many customers. What customers do not realize, however, is that the small 5 and 10 ngwes left at these shopping malls amount to a huge sum of money if collected from a lot of people. This is the more reason why a financial analyst, Mwapem Sonda, says lack of customers from collecting the little coins to have them pumped back into the economy has had a negative impact in contributing to the shortage of money in the economy.
One of the strategies that they use in terms of pricing, the onus is actually on us as consumers. When you buy from the supermarket and your change is supposed to be 5 ngwe or 10 ngwe, the onus is on you to make sure that you get that change. And actually here in Bank of Zambia, they have time and again issued statements where they say that you should be able to collect that change and be able to put it back into the financial circulation. So the onus is on us as consumers. We should make sure that if you have some change left over, ask for it from these owners of the supermarkets or the retailers that are operating on the tills. Ask for it so that when you get it, you'll be able to push it back into the financial circulation.
Mr. Msonda also says customers should ensure that the little coins continue to circulate in the country by ensuring that they are collected from the supermarket and reused as opposed to putting them in piggy banks.
The contributing factor is actually us as citizens, because we're getting those coins and we're putting them in piggy banks and all sorts of things. So we are not pushing them back. So we need to push them back into the circulation so that there can be enough coins, as Bank of Zambia has been asking.
And some random traders spoken to have told this reporter that they do not accept the little coins because they are valueless, while others say they no longer see them in circulation.
we busy like kama customer ya fula video ulepoka ngata ubiki kwa mano lesangati eto sali tunatukana sana kutatupo
eso no ngana poka neto Emisho na ngwampela chena ndo mpaka mpela chenji kwa ngana tutora mpela ngani video nalipoka tonsi denga to ngatu wafula moina to la foot na yalti noma this time takumoni I don't know.
Whether it is a 15 ngwe or a 10 ngwe, however little money may be, it adds value if well circulated in the economy, hence the need to ensure that every change is collected and repumped back into the economy as opposed to leaving them at shopping malls or supermarkets where huge sums of money remain unaccounted for. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambia's fourth Republican president, RUPIAH BANDA, says his health has significantly improved after successful 12 sessions of chemotherapy. Addressing the media on his health status for the first time after he informed the nation that he was diagnosed with colon cancer, President BANDA says he now has a better understanding of what it takes to fight cancer, thereby pleading to stand by all those that are battling with the disease. Mr. BANDA has since called on government to consider investing more in chemotherapeutic drugs for the treatment of all forms of cancer and also the advanced diagnostic equipment like PET scans. The former head of state has meanwhile encouraged Zambians to take cancer screening seriously.
I stand with all cancer patients in Zambia, as I know what it takes to fight this ugly disease. My prayers and best wishes go out to you all. I have pledged to work hard within my abilities to see how I can request the government and the private sector to find ways to fund and improve the access to the much needed chemotherapeutic drugs for the treatment of all forms of cancer, and also the advanced diagnostic equipment like PET scan. Even from my hospital bed, this had been the one thought that continued to cross my mind as it affected many people in our country and in the world indeed. In this regard, I earnestly appeal to the corporate world to join me in creating a platform where we can together generate funds through donations and fundraising ventures to help patients access the much needed care for their cancers. Together, we can achieve a lot. I wish to urge each and every one of you to take screening for different cancers very seriously.
Movement for Democratic Change MDC National Youth Chairman Vernon Kasonde has reminded the youth to refrain from violence and social media abuse as the country commemorates Youth Day, which falls every 12th of March each year. Mr. Kasonde notes that Zambia has a high number of youth with great potential to effect change if they mean well, hence calling on them to be responsible citizens of this country if they are to achieve meaningful development. And Mr. Kasonde has also called on the youth to respect the leaders as they are given the mandate by the Republican Constitution. Meanwhile, the youth leader has advised the youth to exercise their democratic rights as the country approaches the general election. This year's Youth Day is being held under the theme Enhancing National Development Through Youth Partnerships.
Enough is enough. It's our time that we need to exercise our rights. Be part of the decision makers as Member of Parliament, MPs, councillors, mayors. Let us support each other. Let us refrain from violence, killing each other. Our goal is one. Our goal is to fight for this nation, for our betterment. The future of this nation, Zambia, lies on our hands. We need to come together, whether from PF, from UPND, from MDC, from DP. We need to come together and have one voice. Let us support each other. This year, after 12 August 2021, we need to have 47% to 50% Member of Parliament. That means we need to share powers. Let us share resources that God has given us equally. I'm also encouraging the persons of disabilities to be part and parcel of this coming election.
We now take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, downlights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda ukuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina mushi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Zifco, chidi ya shidi ya njinga. Liam 19 pendefcon. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Inemomi! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nchitinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, I'm
Wandy, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing.
Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Community Anti-Litter Initiative Executive Director Pascal Chikumbi has charged that the relaunched Make Zambia Clean, Green and Health campaign will forever remain a political rhetoric provided the right measures are not put in place. The city of Lusaka has in the recent past seen heaps of garbage within the city, hence stakeholders questioning the relevance of the campaign. In responding to the concerns, Lusaka Mayor Mal Sampa has opted to move his office in town so as to physically supervise the cleanup exercise. More in this report.
It is not a secret that waste management remains one of the greatest challenges facing the city of Lusaka, and the central business district is no exception. Available data shows that Lusaka generates about 1 million tons of waste annually, equivalent to about 2,700 tons per day, but only half of this is taken to the designated dump site. And in his continued commitment to address the garbage issue, Lusaka Mayor Mau Sampa has shifted his office to Freedom Way to personally supervise garbage collection, and on Thursday he was on the ground to monitor the situation.
Get closer, get closer. And we remained as workers waiting for the vehicle to tip, and after it tipped it was supposed to go and refuel, and now this is when it has gone to refuel at Longeka's filling station, and I confirm that the driver is now almost done and will be coming back because we have a shift that also starts at 17 hours. So the truck has been gone from 10 hours. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 6 hours. Now, the truck has gone to tip and it hasn't come back. 6 hours. Let's up the game and remove it.
But now that street vending is in full swing, achieving good sanitation is a mountain to climb. Community Anti-Litter Initiative Executive Director Pascal Chikumbi has observed that the relaunched Make Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy campaign will amount to political rhetoric provided the right measures are not put in place.
Resources, we all know just what most of the councils have been going through where resources are concerned. The incapacity of most of the community-based enterprises, those that have been hired or been engaged by local authority, most of the local authorities, including Lusaka City Council, to manage waste, domestic waste, of course even municipal waste, and of course the attitude of most of the citizens. We all know just how citizens of Zambia have been reacting where littering is concerned.
Mr. Chikumbi notes that waste management requires the full participation of all citizens, and certainly mindset change remains a long-lasting solution.
When we try our level best to change the mindset of the people, the campaign of keeping Zambia clean, green and healthy will be in vain. And I know that the councils, especially Lusaka, because Lusaka is where we have a lot of challenges where garbage is concerned, and you can see now it's gotten worse, that there have been a lot of heaps of garbage that has not been collected, of course, due to the challenges that I have just highlighted. So we are calling upon the city father, the mayor himself and his team to attend to this.
Zambia will be heading to the polls, and certainly aspiring leaders will be articulating how they intend to address the persistent challenge of waste management. But without mindset change and creating good trading places for marketeers to stop vending, the status quo will remain as it is. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The opposition National Democratic Party, NDC, in Northwestern Province has pledged to continue working with the opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, ahead of the 2021 general elections. NDC Northwestern Provincial Chairperson Mark Kalemba says this is because Zambians have entrusted their alliance leader Hakainde Hichilema with a mandate to lead them. Mr. Kalemba says his party cannot go against the wishes of the Zambian people who are demanding for employment, decent wages, good roads, and the general improvement of their well-being through the leadership of Mr. Hichilema. He says those against the alliance are only interested in their own personal benefits and not the Zambians who, he says, are feeling the impact of the harsh economic situation in the country. And UPND Northwestern Province Chairman Gradson Katambi says his party will forever continue to treat the NDC and other alliance partners as equal partners. Colonel Katambi has since called for mass mobilization ahead of the elections to ensure that Zambians, regardless of tribe, religion, or otherwise, could vote for the alliance. The duo was speaking at a joint press briefing in Solwezi.
As NDC, we have declared that we are going to support HH come this general election. And they are boasting that they have brought unprecedented development throughout the country. Meanwhile, us in Northwestern Province, what development can we claim or talk about which PF has brought? They are talking of PF has brought universities. What university have we received here in Northwestern Province? They have been constructing housing units for our men in uniform in Zambia for time and again. When have we ever received such a project here in Northwestern Province? Out of all this, who's providing, which province is providing for all this money which they are wasting?
A lot of respect to Daddy Kafumba because he saw through the enemy within. Some of them are not leaders. Traitors. They are traitors.
Abash traitor. Simple.
That man came with a mission to use you, honorables, in NDC. But Akafumba and his team, they have seen something wrong. We are looking at a bigger picture. Bigger picture means us removing these chaps who are playing with money. When people are dying in the hospitals, there are no drugs.
Meanwhile, the Chishimba Kambwili-led NDC fraction, through its Deputy National Chairperson for Mobilization, Fabian Mutale, has urged the new Western Province Executive to ensure that they sensitize party members that NDC is not in any political alliance with any party at the moment. Mr. Mutale explains that party members must stop supporting the UPND as the two parties are no longer in any form of political marriage. Mr. Mutale sounded the warning after presiding over the Western Province Party elections. And Party Acting Secretary General Paul Mbulo has called for unity in the country ahead of the general election.
It is everyone's responsibility now to go to all the districts, the constituencies, and the wards in the province and ensure that the people are informed that we are no longer part of the opposition alliance, but we are on our own as NDC and preparing for the August 2021 elections. I urge all the leadership in all the structures to take this information as an official one from the Secretariat.
Of 13 people, 11 are on suspension and 2
were just dropped because they had no position in the party when they started making noise to destabilize the party. And amongst those is Mr. Ruhila S. Joseph. The MCC tourism coming from Western Province and a letter of suspension which will be delivered to him. In short, we are saying whatever Mr. Ruhila says does not have blessings from the National Democratic Congress Party. It all means that amongst you, the delegates who have been elected today, whoever associates with the Mr. Ruhila at the moment will also be suspended with immediate effect.
Kawata constituency aspiring Member of Parliament Danny Yenga has pledged to continue working for the people of Kawata if given the chance to serve them as area Member of Parliament. Speaking after filing in his application for the adoption at the Patriotic Front Party Secretariat in Lusaka, Mr. Yenga notes that Kawata still yearns for development, which he hopes to deliver. Mr. Yenga says the Patriotic Front government has delivered unprecedented development, hence vying for adoption on the PF ticket. Others who filed in their applications includes Christopher Shakafuswa, vying for Mandevu constituency, and Gabriel Kiwombwe, also vying for Kawata constituency, as well as Clement Tembo.
We can assure you that this race that we have started, we shall run it very peacefully, with respect to all our opponents. Actually, I can't even call them our opponents because we are under one family. They are my colleagues. Our opponents are out there, the opposition. Chair, we are assuring you, our campaign will be very peaceful. We shall not bring the name of our party or even the name of the president into this issue. We have followed the guidelines that have been given by the party, and we endeavor to stick to that, to them. Our goal is to make sure that His Excellency, President Gachagua gets the maximum vote. Our target is to get 100% votes in our constituency. Application for adoption to stand as Member of Parliament for Kawata constituency on the Patriotic Front ticket.
You adopted Honorable Danny Yenga. As a constituency, we're going to expect that you put 100% efforts. And your wife, we expect that you're going to assist your husband, support him 100%. Yes. Dr. Tina, thank you so very much. Thank you. Wish you the very best. Thank you so very much.
And on the Copper Belt, Ndola Central aspiring Member of Parliament Wes Chiles has continued with her community service in Ndola's Nkwazi Township. Ms. Muchishili, who was on Thursday morning at Multiple Care Community School where she donated COVID-19 materials, said the COVID-19 pandemic needs concerted efforts in ending it. Later, she visited Nkwazi Clinic where she donated various cleaning materials that included paint, germ booster for COVID, hand washing equipment, blankets and face masks. She further pledged to support youths, especially those unemployed, so as to keep them away from vices such as alcohol abuse and illicit sexual activities.
So lero kabisa kwesu twakyorekeshapo tumbyuko kale fumusala tamumeleza mtu na mutupere kala afinishapo okuba nayo na market
na kupaka skulu twachama desks twapera kuna vandu findu so lero kuna kunjendeni tishile pa kliniki kwela tingapera kuti nokunono pa kliniki epapapira vana mayo vese avafyala na vakateka avafyala fena vonse avamaleaders songa twambira pachipatala twamona na covid ishile covid inaipa ya vantu covid ikaile yangasha so natuisana kuleta kufya kwevati ngavasansa pala kama kliniki neli abantu valeyapo tavakweteko ubulwere oro chindo chondera ndako pali covid chako vati kuti twaisungirira vonse tulenda omutende tulechita maskafu nendo tulechita enchito chesu twarolesa ati chalo chesu abantu valife omutende so shalande nefingi mkwai natemona kangi naileta naichefya nderomba kulimi vonse.
A number of civil society organizations, CSOs, have strongly condemned the arrest and detention of Action Aid Zambia and Zitukule Consortium board chairperson partner Siyabutaba in Choma. Police in Choma have arrested Mr. Siyabutaba and charged him with abduction. In a statement to Camnet News presented on behalf of other organizations by Chapter 1 Foundation Executive Director Linda Kasonde, they have stood in solidarity with him and called for adherence of human rights and the rule of law with regard to his arrest and detention. Other organizations behind the statement include Action Aid Zambia, Alliance for Community Action, Caritas Zambia, Chapter 1 Foundation, Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD, Center for Trade Policy and Development, Gears Zambia, People's Action for Accountability and Good Governance Zambia, Transparency International Zambia, and the Zambia Council for Social Development. Efforts to get a comment from the Zambia police proved futile by broadcast time. Moving on in the news, a distressed father has told the Lusaka High Court that he does not understand why his son had to die at a tender age. 38-year-old Frank Piri was testifying in a case in which his son Ryan Piri was killed by 4 former twin pump pupils. Mr. Piri told Judge Sharon Nawa in his testimony that on the 4th of December 2020 he received a call from a strange number informing him that his son Ryan was badly beaten with golf sticks by some pupils at Twin Pump School. In his confused state, he told the well-wisher to take Ryan to the University Teaching Hospital as he was on his way there. He testified that after arriving at the hospital, he found his son in a critical condition, and at the time he requested to use the gents before going for an operation. His urine was mixed with blood. But a few minutes later, after he stepped out to get his son's blankets from home, he was informed about his death. Trial continues on the 19th of April 2021. And still in court news, lawyers representing 33-year-old Lieutenant Nigel Mwaba, accused of murdering Dr. Tasila Tembo, have failed to present his mental status report before the Lusaka High Court. Early this year, counsel to Mwaba made an application to adjourn the case on grounds that there was need to do a mental checkup on the accused. This is in a case in which the 33-year-old lieutenant is accused of killing renowned Dr. Tasila Tembo in October 2020. But when the case came before Justice Winfred Muma for the revealing of results on Nigel Mwaba's mental status Thursday morning, the court was informed that the results are not ready. In February 2021, Mwaba had requested that before trial could commence for his murder case, a medical examination be done on him to check his mental status. Dr. Tembo's body was discovered in a decomposed state in Mikango Barracks, covered with leaves after she went missing for some days. Mwaba, who was reportedly on the run at the time his lover went missing, was later apprehended. The case is expected to commence on the 19th of April 2021. We now take our second set of commercials to stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
You know, I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
Enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Thursday has been declared a national day of mourning in Senegal for those killed in anti-government protests. The unrest was sparked when police detained opposition politician Ousmane Sonko last week. He has told Al Jazeera he has committed no crime.
For some, Ousmane Sonko is one of Senegal's rising opposition leaders. For others, including the state prosecutor, he's a rapist responsible for public disorder after protests erupted following his arrest last week. But Sonko, who's out on bail, says the allegations against him are politically motivated.
I have committed no crime. We can trust the justice system. In the way the case is being carried out against me, the tribunal is violating the law and the procedures in order to sentence political opponents. The prosecutor is not working for the state, but Macky Sall.
The government deployed extra security forces, including the military, to end days of nationwide demonstrations. Rights groups say hundreds of people are being detained. The protests stopped after President Macky Sall called for calm and dialogue in a nationwide address. But Sonko is calling for more protests.
What we are seeing right now is a revolution. But this is not a revolution to overthrow President Macky Sall. It's a smart revolution. We need to organize local elections that are 2 years overdue, then the parliament election in 2022, so that the people can freely elect a new leader in 2024.
Sonko describes himself as the anti-establishment candidate for the 2024 presidential election. Critical of Senegal's relationship with former colonial power France, he accuses the government of corruption, favoring French corporations.
Our relationship with France, like any other countries, need to be more balanced. It has to be a win-win relationship, not a one-way relationship.
Critics say Sonko's nationalist discourse is dangerous. During the recent protests, his supporters are accused of burning and looting French supermarkets.
Those looting are doing it not because they support me, but because they need provisions. These are people that walk past the supermarkets, unable to enter because they can't afford it. The looting shows the failure of the state.
Scores were killed and many injured by security forces since Sonko's arrest last Wednesday. President Macky Sall blames the economic fallout of the pandemic for the unrest. For Sonko, the crisis calls for political change.
Those that died were 14, 16, 18 years old. They know their future is at stake. In honor to them and all those that are political prisoners of Macky Sall, we can't give up the fight.
But this is a movement that goes beyond politics. It's a call by young Senegalese tired of being ignored, wanting to be heard. Sonko believes he is the best suited to carry that voice. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Dakar.
We now get into sports news. Chipolopolo coach MICHO has summoned 23 local players for the second week of preparations for the back-to-back Cameroon 2021 to be played in 2022 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Algeria and Zimbabwe. MICHO has maintained the bulk of the local players that turned up for the week one camp that ended on Tuesday. He has handed a debit call on the Green Eagles diver Gregory Sanjase, while under 20 starlets Prince Mumba and Muma Mumba are also in the squad. MICHO has already named a 33-member provisional squad that includes 16 foreign-based players and 17 locals, but has kept the door open for possible late inclusions among the players in the domestic league. The players will report for camp in Lusaka after the weekend ABSA Cup action. Foreign-based players will also only join in the final stages of preparations. Zambia hosts Algeria on March 25th at National Hero Stadium before trekking to Zimbabwe for the final Group H encounter 4 days later. The Chipolopolo are stuck at the foot of Group H with 3 points, while Botswana is just above with 4 points. Algeria leads the pack on 10 points and already assured of qualification, while Zimbabwe lies second on 5 points. The story is courtesy of the Football Association of Zambia. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Government not happy with doctors' protest at State House over unemployment. NDC and UPND cement working relations in Northwestern Province. Former President RUPIAH BANDA updates the nation over his health status. In international news, Day of National Mourning declared in Senegal over protest killings. And in sports news, MICHO summons 23 local players for crucial AFCON qualifier matches. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Colossians 3, verse 23 to 24, and it reads, "Whatever you do, do it enthusiastically, as something done for the Lord and not for men, knowing that you will receive the reward of an inheritance from the Lord. You serve the Lord Christ." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.